I spit bars in a rain. Man, I go hard like Santan.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Kop End Fracas, powered by Touchline Media Group. I am your host, Chris, and this week I am joined by Glam. Glam, didn't think I was going to say his name first yet again, but you know, I keep my promises where they're due.
Yes, bro. Yes, what's going on?
As you can see, Glam is modelling the new Liverpool away shirt, as only Glam can. If you're watching it on the video, the Glam cam. How are you finding the shirt, brother?
Bro, the shirt's tight, bro. I can't lie, bro. But you know, it's good. Like, I will rock it to the gym. I can't lie. I was just speaking to you guys off air. You're telling me that it's a Nike fit because this is actually an XL. Do you know what I mean? I was going for like a more comfortable look, but it is what it is, man. The shot banging.
I got the same one a few weeks ago. I got it in an XL as well. The nice thing about it makes your arms feel, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, you can see that the gym work's been coming up, but everything else, I'm just there like, ooh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know that you're doing well. I've also got Julian. Julian, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. You know, my t-shirt's not as tight, even though it's a Liverpool top, New Balance, one of the old ones. If I was wearing a Liverpool top, I wouldn't be breathing right now. Like, I've literally worn. Sorry, I didn't know this was going to turn into a night conversation, but here it is.
Fashion end fracas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fashion end fracas. But I haven't literally worn my Liverpool top. I wore it once, put on weight over lockdown, and never wore it again. So my kids will have a very nice top when they're older, a nice retro Liverpool top. Because it's a bit.
I was about to say, he said kids. I'm like, bro, when did you got some babies, bro?
No, we're not there yet. We're not there, but you know,
right, bro, no problem.
Retro Liverpool top when they have that. But I'm good, man. I'm good. Sun is shining. The weather is sweet. You know, everything is fine, man.
That's what we like to hear. And I'm joined by two members of the NWO who seem to have won the old civil war that's been going on.
Victory lap. Come on.
I need my world title. I need my world title.
Yeah, you guys got to fill me in on what's going on, man. I don't know. I see people left the groups.
Glam, all I'm gonna say.
I've seen people come out.
Bro.
Yeah, next time I see you guys in person, I need a few pictures with this. You know what I mean?
Easy done.
All I'm gonna say is, Glam, there's certain guys that couldn't handle the pressure of what this their beloved board had to bring them, and they had to just vacate the premises because their heads were getting hot. And
so you guys are NWO, yeah?
Oh, of course.
So no one's repping the other lot, no?
Not here.
Not here.
They're too scared, bro. We called them out. We told them come on the pod. I was like, brothers, come. Let's do a joint pod together.
Yeah.
Let's air out our differences. Let's let the listeners decide.
Yeah.
You know, let's let the listeners listen to what we've been discussing in the chat, and they just don't want to show up, man.
Oh wow!
And one of them's not about no more. He's not about no more.
They're not around no more. They're not around no more.
He's not.
And who do you think that's because of? Well, it's actually because of Julian. That's the funny thing.
And the funny thing is, sorry to go into this, but this morning, I was actually minding my business. I had work to do.
Bro, they called you out.
I was like, bruv, what do you want from me? Like, I'm working, had my porridge. And I thought, no, fuck this. Let's actually go into this. Let's talk. And here we are, the company men, one man down.
It was very much like that. It was very much like that Nene Leaks video where she's just sitting there like, now why am I in it?
Exactly. And now I've got in it. W's is what it is, man.
Is what it is. Speaking of fashion and fracas, we've got the perfect person to talk about that with us. Sporting a lovely new haircut. If you're watching on the video, we've got Fahi. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Oh, actually, no, I'm not good. I'm actually quite pissed off. I've had a fucking horrific day. I've got a puncture in my tire.
No.
Yeah, bruv. I was driving, I was going to gym. I was like, let me drive nice. And I just hear, I'm like, what's this? What's going on? It sounds like there's a carrier bag in my exhaust. So I come outside, I look, and I see some fat nail on my left rear tire. So obviously I need to repair that. So whilst I'm talking about Liverpool and all the great things going on, I'm going to be pissed off thinking about that tire I need to sort out tomorrow, man.
I had to get one changed a few months ago, and I think I went out like, we'll talk about it offline. This isn't pit stop, but if you do want us to if you want us to good Pirelli action, head over and listen to the pit stop boys. Of course, as always, if you do want a little bit more Kop End Fracas content. If you want to hear what's been going on between the company men and the NWO, then please head over to the Patreon page. Membership start from just £3 per month. The link is below on the video, and it is in the podcast description. But I will always say it as I do, because I've been conditioned like the Winter Soldier. It's www.patreon.com/Kop End Fracas, and subscribe today. Also, a massive shout out to everyone who came out on Sunday for the Kop End Fracas live show. It was a good time had by all. I think you all saw the pictures and videos of Lewis looking very despondent, and the one that was dubbed over where he just said, we don't have the capacity. That was that actually made my weekend, because good. I don't know who did that, but kudos to you, sir.
That was brilliant. That one was brilliant, man.
You could just see the look of just all hope drained from his face, and then someone just memed it. But of course, Farhi, you were present as ever. With the Arsenal. I'm surprised you didn't take a cardboard cutout of the Arsenal lost meme and have it there just on deck in case. But how was it at the weekend? How were the vibes?
Bro, like it was clear as day that Arsenal were going to lose, and I was like, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to make sure I am at this event. I want to see tears. I want to see tears, and I want to laugh. And I was laughing within the first 15 minutes. It was beautiful. It was lovely catching up with all of our listeners. Great vibes. We had loads of jokes and everything. Laughed at Arsenal, laughed at Chelsea. Somehow the Chelsea podcast members came away getting dunked on, which is
I couldn't believe that. When I heard that back, I wasn't at the show, but when I heard that back, I genuinely couldn't believe that Chelsea won the game, because the way they got pammed on the main stage was absolutely crazy.
Bro, it was a bit mad, but everyone was on top form. Mush was there, Harold was there, Marco was there, Ellis was on another vibe.
Ellis must have like taken an entire container of pre-workout, because he was up for it.
But that's what you heard on the live show. During the games, the way he was heckling Touchy Gooners, Arsenal, I've never seen Ellis that funny in my life. It was unbelievable. I was crying with laughter. Like, he was so on point. Pause. But yeah, it was a great day. I'm sure there's another event coming soon, and just make sure you're there next time, guys.
100%, man. Of course, you got a free drink on entry. There was food provided, and of course, as you just heard, there was pamming galore. So yeah, when we do have the next event, please do come down and get in on the action. But the good thing about the show that made all the guys attended and listening back enjoy it more was the fact that Liverpool had a lovely 12:30 lunchtime win against Burnley at Anfield. I just want to talk about, first of all, the composed nature of the performance, and Farhi, I'll start off with you for this. Games of this kind of magnitude is probably the wrong word, but it's the only word I can think of at the moment, of this stature, where we're playing lower bottom of the half opposition, weirdly enough at Anfield, and of course sometimes away from home too, where we were dropping all these key points. Did that performance at the weekend kind of give you a bit more confidence, knowing that we can perform and deliver, most importantly, against these teams to recoup all the points that we dropped last season in this campaign?
I would say it just reminded me of the Liverpool from the 2019 to the 2020 era. So you don't even call that an era, do you? You call that a good 18 months. So that home form, it reminded me of LFC from them, man. Comfortable. Obviously, Burnley had their chance and everything. It's still early in the season. Our centre-backs are still recovering. But in general, I really like the way we dominated that game. We obviously held the majority of the possession. We created loads of chances. I don't think anyone underperformed. It was a nice, solid performance from all. I think there were a few standouts. But yeah, it just reminded me of the Liverpool from old. And it was just great vibes, hearing all the crowd back at Anfield. And even for a lunchtime kickoff on a Saturday, it was nice and loud. Because it's been so long, people haven't been there. Usually, Saturday lunchtime kickoff, they're a bit muted. Everyone's waking up from their Friday night session, getting there and, sleep in their eye and all that shit. But I think everyone was bang on it for this game because it's been so long. And yeah, the vibes are great.
100%. And Glam, I'll come to you, kind of the same question, really. It felt like a homecoming of sorts for Liverpool. I mean, it's been so long since there was a crowd in the stadium. Mm-hmm. Again, I'll kind of pose the same question. And again, with with the crowd in attendance, do you see that changing the tides and fortunes of this team this season as well?
100%, man. I was one of the advocates that was saying, you know what I mean, one of the first main pods in during the COVID hit that fans in, and a few you kind of laughed at me, and maybe I didn't explain it or elaborate on it on why, but it just makes a massive difference, man. And you know, I've been in Anfield. I've experienced the Champions League rush, but as I said, my brother, Arsenal fan, shouts out to him. He obviously experienced it, and he was just like, "There's nothing like it." And you know, I just think at home, I knew for one last season where Burnley tipped us off, and obviously we got those silly draws and everything. It's not happening when the crowd is there. They just won't allow it. Like even if we're on an off day, the crowd are just not allow it, and it's a massive difference to us. Like, and and it showed. It showed, man. We didn't even get out of third gear. You know, I know Burnley started quite well, but was never in doubt in terms of control of the game. So yeah, I'm happy the fans are back.
No, I completely agree. I'm thankful that I've got some people. I know some people who obviously went to the game and said the vibes are absolutely fantastic. One of my close friends actually took his son for the first time as well. So
wicked,
you know, it's one of those like nice occasions, especially when it's a win too. It's like one of those things where you just kind of remember your first game, you know, the kind of the atmosphere and the specialty around it. So that was nice to see, and I think it's most personified more than anything when Ashley Barnes scored that disallowed goal, gave the big one to the
absolute wanker. The way he was cupping his ears.
I kind of respect it though, you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's shit because you see what he done. He's done his little flipping little sign, and then when he realizes he's offside, he's like, "Fuck off!" Well, bruv, you're offside, isn't it? Like, get out of here, man, you idiot. He's ready to.
The cop let him have it as well. It was the funniest thing to see. And he's like, you know, just like his balding head just turn around, just patchy. But no, it's good to see the fans back in the ground more than anything. Julian, I'll come to you. We kind of talked about this a little bit on the post-match pod at the weekend. Again, post-match pod is Patreon exclusive, so if you do want to hear more of that content going forward, head over to the Patreon page today. The team for the game, we were quite pleasantly surprised by the midfield selection. Obviously, now we know that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is now a father. Congratulations to him on that. Even though he didn't really do a lot, I'm pretty sure this is did all the work.
Congrats, big up.
I'm sure being in the labour room when that happens is like playing the full 90 minutes. I'm sure Glam can attest to that. So yeah, you done a lot, man. Why are you looking at me?
I had to do the rock eyebrow there.
Well, yeah, man. It was What was the question?
To get a little off key there.
Glam rattle.
Glam got very serious there. If you watch it on the video, you can see the serious look on his face. It was quite, big one. The team selection for the game. Obviously, we now know what Ox wasn't available. Of course, Fabinho on compassionate leave there too, and the surprise selection of Harvey Elliott starting kind of his first Premier League appearance, full start on the right hand side, that midfield three. What a performance it was from him, first and foremost. Let's just kind of get this kind of talk out the way so we can talk about him. How well do you think he did, considering?
Man, it feels like I've been featuring on Patreons and the pod quite frequently, and I've been speaking about him literally every single time I come on. Compared to last season, it feels like a crazy surgence of a young talent. He was brilliant, man. Like, what I've said this many times, but what I love about young players when they first come into the team is that when they look like they want it, not just being there and being comfortable and, you know, doing the passing it side to side, playing it safe, which is fair as a young player, especially as young as he is, doing when they come into a side like Liverpool. But he actually looks like he gets the ball, takes responsibility with the ball, and finds the players that he wants to find. And even looking at how Salah and a couple of other forwards are linking up with him, always trying to look for him, trusting him with the ball, it just goes to show like he's a brilliant prospect that the best of the best in the world are looking at and are performing with. And yeah, man, he was absolutely brilliant. And for your first appearance at home, it helps that the crowd were there to like, when he was getting knocked about by a couple of the Burnley players to kind of rise him up, give them a bit of stick as well. But yeah, I thought he was brilliant. If Tsimikas personally wasn't man of the match, I felt like he could have been easily, because he was, fearless, absolutely fearless. I love it.
Fahy, I'll come to you. We'll talk about a departure of a Liverpool player later on, but for the role that player is theoretically meant to do, Harvey Elliott showed at such a young age the maturity and the desire to kind of deliver that role and give a little bit more.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, definitely. I think he played. What I like when players come through into the first team for the first time, and it just reminded me of Sterling as well. You know, when Sterling first started, I think it was against City at Anfield, how fearless he played. Elliott had the exact same vibes, man. He wasn't scared. He wanted to get on the ball. He was fighting and battling for every single duel. Like he was there every time the ball was in the air. Even though he's so small, he was still going for it, and he was actually winning headers, which was mad. Obviously, in the final third, not every pass worked out well, but the fact that he was trying to come up with innovative ideas, it wasn't the simple just pass to Salah and go. He was trying to think of doing something different. I like that. He doesn't need to be the same old midfield three like everyone else, and he wanted to do something a bit different. And just in general, I think he cemented himself in that game. I think Burnley tried to, nibble at his ankles and all that stuff, but he was adamant that he'd get out from it, and he did really, really well. It was interesting seeing him in a right centre mid role, because it's been teased quite a bit. So actually seeing him perform at Anfield in a Premier League game in that position was good to see, man.
It's one thing that we discussed in terms of where his long-term position in a Liverpool team more than anything would be. I think he played a lot of these games for Blackburn, kind of within their forward line, but you saw the tenacity that he had, the desire to win the ball back. And I think what was most impressive with him as well, like you said, his pressing and his desire to press to try to win back the ball and keep them pinned back was just absolutely sensational. And to kind of grasp the concept of playing in a Klopp midfield more than anything at such a young age is really special. Glam, I'll come to you. It's kind of same question. And it's a bit more of a wider question on that right hand side of the Liverpool team on Saturday. So you saw Elliott kind of playing in a wide midfield role, and Trent was actually playing more central midfield, and Salah has been able to kind of drift in and draft out. How key do you think that's going to be for the remainder of the season? Because the ability of Elliott to kind of draft out and enable Trent to play more central midfield, which is something that people have been calling for a while, and have a bit more influence in the game. How key do you think that's going to be in certain situations this season?
I'll say it's going to be a good option in terms of because I don't expect Harvey to play that many games. I think Klopp will pick and choose what certain games to bring him in and integrate him in. But obviously, what Fahy and yourself said, he was fearless in the game. And I think for Mane's goal, obviously, Trent was like more or less like a centre mid, like a 10. And I was pretty much thinking, well, what's he doing there? Obviously, he laid off the assist. But I think Harvey understands the role. I think he understands what his job is to do. He's 17, 18. He's got the legs, and he's bombing up and down. I'm quite surprised how mature in his game he is, if I'm honest. I remember when he first come and he before he went on his loan. He's a bit. He was just here there, just trying to impress and get the ball here there. He didn't have really the coordination.
He looks fairly lightweight.
Yeah. And that loan move to Blackburn has done in the world of good. And the fact that he stayed, I understand why now he stayed. I was the one that questioned and thought he's going out on loan. He should go on loan. Yeah. But after that performance, I can't understand why he's in around the squad. You might as well keep him around because he can be a dimension for us.
100%. And there's various reports of I think he was allowed. Well, he was allowed to have 6 weeks off for pre-season, but I think he only took 2. He took a full month to kind of work on his fitness and work on his game. And that maturity and that discipline. I think more importantly, that desire to make it at Liverpool, because you see how important that is to him. It's just
Definitely.
absolutely fantastic.
And just one more thing to add, I missed the cutting, the drop of the shoulder, and the crossbar. I totally missed that. I saw it in the clips after, and I don't know what part that happened in the game. Did they actually show it? Did you guys see that when he cut in and hit the ball?
Yeah. That was I wanted
missed
that.
That was quality.
Yeah, he's a player, man.
That
He's an
was
absolute player.
sensational, man. Jeez, like I'm surprised no one are talking about it. I mean, if he played for City, probably heard it all over Sky Sports News and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? But you know, no, that was amazing bit of skill.
No, he was absolutely fantastic in that game, and it's one of those ones where you can see the development of and you know, you can see the bones of a player there that, you know, can hopefully contribute to Liverpool as time goes on. Want to talk about, you know, a little bit more about the game in more detail as we go along, but I want to kind of shift the conversation towards one player in particular. So it's another game up front and another goal for Liverpool's new number 9, Diogo Jota. Fahy, love it. Fahy, I'll come back to you on this. He's playing more like a traditional number 9, so we've seen him in this role now for 2 games. Did you think this will be his position for the long term now going forward, or do you think there'll still be kind of ways for him to operate on the left hand side of our front 3?
I think there's going to be ways for him to operate from all 3 positions of the front 3. He was signed because he is adaptable. We've seen that he's pretty good on the left. He's good centrally, and I'm not sure of him on the right, but yeah, left and central, he's pretty decent. So I don't think he's exactly cemented his position as only as a central forward. He's still going to play on the left every so often, depending on, you know, when Mane needs a break, because there's no one else to really cover Mane on the left hand side. I think it was a good performance. I know you've not asked me the question of what I thought of his performance, but I may as well just tell you anyway. I thought it was a good performance. As a number 9, your number 1 job, like Julian said yesterday, is to score goals, and he scored. So, you know, 2 starts, 2 goals. What more do you want from your centre forward?
Let's go a little bit more detail there. He's got so far, this season so far, 5 shots on goal, 3 of them shots on target, and he scored with 2 of the shots on target. So, you know.
Bro, here's I think I saw a stat. I don't know who shared it. Maybe it was Dan Kennett. He shared a stat regarding Jota's shot to goal ratio compared to Salah, and it's right up there. And obviously Salah's quite clinical. Jota's just below Salah. So if Jota continues on the path that he's been showing for the past year, then yeah, man, he's going to do really, really well.
Glam, I'll come back to you on this as well. When you look at Jota, are you happy with him playing up front? Because I think it actually allows a little bit of attention now that you see how clinical he can be. And it's weird that he's more clinical and he's clinical in these areas we need to be clinical. In the 18-yard box, he's, you know, very much there. He can head the ball, he can shoot. I think he actually draws a lot of attention away from the other 2 in a weird way, because there's that presence you have to kind of guard from the box now. How happy are you going forward that he'll be kind of starting a lot more games kind of up front, playing as the 9?
Yeah, no, I'm very happy. Obviously, I did want him to start. I think it was a close call between him and Bobby, because Bobby was brilliant in pre-season. He's come on last week and he scored a goal. But, you know, Jota's doing his job, scores his goals. The performance ain't flamboyant, sort of, you know, exciting, and obviously, yeah, he's thrilling us, but he's getting the goals, and I'm happy for him to continue getting the goals. And also the thing is as well, he's playing central, but he's not a central player. He can come out wide, he can interchange. Salah can drift through the middle if need be. I just love the interchange. What I will say is, in games that we're not at home, for instance, if we go to the Etihad or Old Trafford, I wouldn't be surprised if then Bobby Firmino starts, because obviously then I think we'll be pressing a lot more than we'll be pressing at home. But listen, man, it's good options, and he's scoring goals. I think he should get, if he's fit, he should get 15 to 20 goals. I can't see why not. You can't do that.
No, I think that's a really good shout. I mean, if he can get 15 goals, obviously you expect Salah to kind of push for 25, that range again. Mane, I think it's a bit of a mixed bag what you can get there. And I think Firmino in a bit more of a reduced role, rotated in, if he can get you 10 in a reduced role, it's, so Julian's face there. It does what it needs to do. Julian, I'm going to come back to you next on this as well. I think it's really interesting that, from what we saw from Jota last season whilst he was playing on the left, he was quite involved in the build-up. But you see he's kind of developed a bit of a knack for not being that heavily involved. But he's getting his goal regardless, and that is what you want. I mean, if there's one thing that you always say from a number 9 is you want a shooter. You want a guy that's going to deliver. How happy are you more than anyone that we're kind of seeing his gradual evolution to this kind of footballer?
Oh, I respect it, man. Like, listen, I'm a nasty guy when it comes to strikers, bruv. I don't care about the guy that links up, that's passing back to the number 10 or to the wing so he can make a run inside and then get a goal. Listen, my number 9, when you shoot, I want you to score. And that's what, and I rate Joe because, listen, I can see it's evident where Klopp is probably screaming at him from the touchline, Joe, you need to do this. But he's like, listen, Klopp, I got my goal, innit? Like, you need to talk to them, man, about pressing and all that because man's not here for this. I'm here to shoot and score. And one thing I also like about Klopp is that he will always reward I believe, good form. So I feel like if Jota keeps scoring, it's kind of undeniable in the sense where Klopp is going to be like, you scored last game, you scored over the last 2 or 3. I'm going to stick Bobby in now because of whatever. Because Jota's, to me, like that kind of, you can't buy goals. Like this is why we kind of had grumbles over the last year when it comes to like selling Salah and saying we want to buy this player, to replace him if he gets sold. Is that goals can never be replaced. And with Mane kind of dropping off the boil a bit, I definitely feel like Jota's stamping his place in the front three with these goals. It will be a bit techie if there are games where he absolutely doesn't link up and doesn't score and doesn't provide the intangibles that Firmino does provide to the team. But listen, as I said before, goals are goals. Goals are the biggest currency in football. And as long as you're netting, especially when you're playing in the striker's role, I don't think anyone can have many complaints. And if you do, then you're probably just nitpicking.
No, well I completely agree. And it's the one thing we have been crying out for a while. So, the whole purpose of the midfield function is to kind of press and, ignite it from there. And I think it's one thing that we are seeing from the guys as well. So let's kind of move on and talk about Jota's goal as well. It's a brilliantly taken header. Kind of one of the things I said earlier on, that he's deceptively good in the air. It's really weird because he's not towards the players, but he always seems to win the ball. Fahy, I'll come back to you. One of the players we've seen kind of really show a very good account of himself, show why he was brought in to be backup is Kostas Tsimikas over these kind of past 2 games. The ball he puts in is very Robbo-esque for Jota to kind of put that in the back of the net. How impressed have you been with Tsimikas as well and his ability to kind of create these chances that we expect from our fullbacks?
Yeah. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I'm not surprised by Tsimikas going forward. Every time I've actually seen him play and every clip I've seen of him, he's been very good going forward. My only question has always been about him defensively. I think last week you saw that at the end. But yeah, on Saturday, he was fantastic, solid. Going forward, he was brilliant. He linked up play very well with Naby. Him and Naby had a great understanding. There was a few times Naby knew when to find him and he knew when to overlap. So that was good. And also he had a good understanding with Mane as well. For the goal itself, again, Naby carries the ball, waits for Tsimikas to come near him, pegs it back to him, and Tsimikas does the job. Brilliant cross. Again, Robbo-esque. It was very, very good performance. Can't complain. He's done what he had to do. When your fullbacks are injured and you need a replacement to come in, they need to be solid and they need to do their job. He's kept 2 clean sheets. He's assisted, and in general, I think our fan base now will be a lot more at ease if there ever is a time where Robbo needs a break, because Tsimikas has proven he can do a job.
I wish we got Jamal Lewis though.
Oh, that is an inside joke, guys. That's an inside joke.
Oh, is that NWO? Okay, NWO. I'll take that. I must be NWO beef.
It's been the source of entertainment for the past 48 hours. So yeah, I'm for one. I'm quite interested to see if Shimikas could possibly do a job at right back as well, because one of the things that we did see from this game, and we're going to talk about Trent in a bit more detail later on, because fucking hell, he had a fantastic game. One of the things we saw was that Trent cut back on his left foot a fair bit in that game. So one of the things I'm interested to see if Shimikas could, take that exact same skill, place it up on the right hand side in games where we could, just give Trent a rest, then we all can kind of agree that Neko isn't ready to step up and cover in certain games that aren't League Cup or FA Cup. Well, I think that's fair. You know what I mean? You can start games
it's fair. And I love me an inverted fullback. They're so good. Like Pep says, Pep loves an inverted fullback as well. But yeah, I love watching inverted fullbacks play. It'd be interesting to see how Shimikas plays at right back. Obviously, I'd rather have an actual specialist at right back.
Yeah, I agree.
But
100%.
If you can't get a right back in, which obviously I'd highly doubt we're getting a right back in, I'd rather have Shimikas play than someone else. Big up that person still.
Yeah, no, big him up. But I also think it's fair to say that he might not be good enough to play for the football club. But,
agreed.
Yeah.
100%.
Who's his Riddler?
Riddler? Are we putting in Riddler now?
We're talking about good enough to play right back.
I mean, who's second in command when it comes to right backs?
Oh, not Nico.
Yeah, your boy Nico.
Oh, okay. I threw me off. I think
he should be gone, man. Really should be gone. Now, they were teasing something about an £8 million bid and all this nonsense, and yeah, he is still here. So
the thing about Nico's got capabilities.
He has,
he's
but
got speed.
He's good.
Got a whip as well.
Yeah, he's a good footballer, but he's just not for us. He's not for us, and that's
Julian's disgusted. I'm just looking at his facial expressions. He's just like, fuck's sake.
All I'm gonna say is every time I've seen that against someone with a bit of colour, it's long. Absolutely not. Like it's not even like you can see where like, if you work on this will happen. It's one of them ones where it's like just cut your losses now. Like I'm sure he'll be a good player. Like I don't even know because I saw him for Wales and my God, yeah, man, that in it. Like I can't even do a deep analysis. Like every time I've seen him, he's just been terrible. But I don't even want to go in on him too much because yeah, man, it's a bit harsh.
I think he'd be good for like a lower half Premier League team. So you can see where he'd be good for a Southampton. You can see where he'd be good for a Palace, and you can see how he could definitely benefit.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think he can make it in this league. Championship maybe. I can't lie, but I don't even see at Southampton or Crystal Palace him doing the job because he looks quite hopeless. And I thought that's what I'm going to say because it's a bit harsh.
Nah, if Jamal Lewis can make it, he definitely can make it, bro. I don't agree with that. He could definitely make it in the Premier League. He's just not Liverpool quality. He's just not Liverpool quality. Come on, let's be honest. Obviously, Trent's not the best defensive fullback ever, but what he gives to the team does outweigh his defensive side. Nico would be balanced. There's no point in having him. There's just no point. Let him go and play football somewhere else. That's how I see it.
I think this is the problem as well because his pathway to get better is blocked by the fact that he can't get minutes because the guy who we're literally about to talk about now is so good and undroppable that he can't.
And Trent is quite fit as well. Like I've only seen him miss a couple of games here and there, but yeah, man, Trent is brilliant, man. Like if we're gonna start speaking about him, Trent is brilliant. I really love what it seems that Klopp is doing in terms of changing the way that he is a creator in the team instead of like getting him down the byline, Salah passing it off and him just whipping it in, which he's amazing at. But I feel like there was times last season where he got kind of found out and like Klopp was moving a bit stubborn in terms of the way he played, but not stubborn, but he was just doing the tried and tested and it just wasn't working. It felt
very robotic.
Yeah. It felt at that point. yeah, like it was getting to, the people make the joke, the cross, inshallah. It literally felt like that was our only way of getting goals. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I feel like there was the last part of last season where Trent was evolving into this role that he's into now, like picking the ball up, not only just on the right flank, but dropping into centre mid and dropping into the middle and picking up passes. I feel like this is something he's probably worked on throughout the summer. I saw it in pre-season, and these 2 games he's looked like he's creating. He's having more of a free roam on that right hand side, linking up with the centre mid and letting the centre mid go a bit wide, where it seems to be either KR or Harvey Elliott so far. Salah kind of dropping into the middle, and him kind of picking up passes here and there, because maybe, and that's good because I feel like he's the most technically gifted player in the club for sure, and probably that I've seen since Steven Gerrard at the club. So I definitely feel like we're using him in the right way, where he's dropping into the middle instead of just being restricted to the right. So yeah, man, Jugador performance, and love it from Trent. Just love it.
I've got a quick question for you, Junior. By the way, so talk about players being the system. I look at Trent now and the way he's being used in these past 2 games, and how influential he is. Would it be fair to say that Trent is the system? Definitely not.
Because I definitely feel like Robertson and so far Shimikas will be used, and at the same capacity, the ball usage will definitely be there for them. I don't think we're going to just be relying on Trent, because Shimikas and Robertson are very technically gifted still to try and pick out a cross. So we're a cog. There's so many cogs in the machine that at this point I think it'll be very unfair to say that one player is the system, as we did 2 years ago.
No, that's a very good good way to put it. Farhi, I'll come to you next. The ball he plays for Mane and some of the passing that was on display from Trent at the weekend, was just try and put it into words for me, because I'm a little bit speechless from
it was exquisite, mate. I think exquisite is a good superlative to go with. I think Trent played really well, man. I think one thing I want to focus on before I talk about his passing, because we all know how good he is at passing. Has anyone else noticed how broad he's got now? He's definitely been doing wide lap pulls. Glam, something like that. How do you think?
Hang on a minute. Did you call that lap pulls or lap pause? Because if you did the latter, that was brilliant.
No, lap pulls, man. Pulls. Sorry, but come on, it's the Bedfordian accent.
Yeah, he said Paul. He did say Paul. Still, Chris is picking on him, man. That's an NWO moment, bruv.
But yeah, Glam. Yeah, I'm sure you can appreciate. He has definitely got a bit wider.
Do you know what? I haven't really noticed that. Obviously, apart from his new hairstyle and his confidence. But yeah, I'm gonna
have a watch. He looks cool.
Yeah,
he's a growing boy. Even when I look at pictures from, like, for example, when he first got into the side properly around the 2018-2019 season, or maybe even before that, compared to even now or even last season, he's 22 and he's going to keep growing. But I definitely feel like he's putting on size I feel like everyone in the Liverpool side, I think it's mandatory just for you to just put on size in general. Because even if you look at Harvey Elliott, he looks a lot bigger than he did when he was at Blackburn, especially over the summer. So it's definitely Liverpool. Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, in general, his passing was great, man. Honestly, Trent, I would say first half, McNeil took it to him. McNeil knows.
Yeah, he was. McNeil ain't no joke.
McNeil knows, man.
It's a weird one as well, because I always think McNeil is like one player that Trent always finds it difficult to go against. Yeah, because he's got a combination.
He knows when he has him one-on-one, it's a 50-50 opportunity, man. Like, Trent doesn't feel comfortable around McNeil. So first half, McNeil, there's a couple of times he caught him off guard, but second half, I think Klopp told Trent to advance a lot more. To the point, he advanced so much that, McNeil knew that he couldn't really do much, so he had to switch flanks. So, it was a great performance. I was really happy with how Trent played.
McNeil is not a Burnley player, man. Like,
he's not.
Nah, he's better. He's so much better than Burnley. You can see how he play incredibly well if he went to Spurs. You can see how he do very well at an Everton, where there's just like a big target man. He can whip balls in.
Even Even Aston Villa.
Arsenal.
Even Aston Villa, man.
We're talking about mid-table clubs. We've got to talk about Arsenal. You do really
I was
well
going to
there.
say, I was going to say, brother, I mean, you could do a job for Arsenal at the moment, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Glam at centre-back would do well.
You'd be better than Pablo Mari. Fucking hell.
I'm sure he wouldn't get bullied by Lukaku if Glam was at centre back.
Mari's
He's a
ridiculous.
Yeah, for more pain, tune into this week's Touchy Goodness for a bit more on that.
I am.
Yeah, I mean we all are. Last week
Oh,
they had
definitely, yeah.
last week they had a UN summit, so God knows what's going to be this week. I want to talk about Klopp's comments on Burnley essentially making it fucking SummerSlam, which was ironically on the same day. It was very obvious to me, kind of second half, they were absolutely finished by 55 minutes. They were all knackered, possibly apart from McNeil, as we just discussed. And they resorted to what I can only describe as ale house football, Sunday league tactics, where you just go in and try and chop everyone who looks better than you. It's very, we've seen all this stuff in the media where Jermaine Genius is, laughing, even though there's clear examples of where Burnley, you're barging people, blindsiding people, knocking people to the floor. The one they did on Trent towards the end of the game was a fucking disgrace, by the way. And I just wanted to kind of get how you felt about that, because the way it's being perceived by the media is, it's Klopp moaning, it's Klopp trying to get an advantage with mental games. And Glam, I'm going to come to you first on this. What did you make of this whole kind of circus that's been surrounded this, even though it's very evident what Burnley were trying to do?
Yeah, the thing I do get Klopp's point of view, and he had the right to vent his frustration in that sense, even though, because had we lost the game and him doing that, it would have been like, we're sour grapes. So we've won the game, but he's still talking about it because at the end of the day, his players are his responsibility. We've come back fresh, full fit squad, well, mostly. And if you want to play football in it, but don't take the piss and try go out to intentionally obscure players without playing the ball. And that's just Burnley all over. And I think when they knew that they lost the game in terms of fitness, by the second half, as I said, they started well. They started bright. Their intensity, they did want the ball and tried to go at Trent on the right hand side and also unsettle Alisson. But by the second half, like they were blowing gas. They were blowing gas, and that sort of gameplay that they had, I can't stand it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm glad that he very frustration. I did hear Tarkowski's little TalkSport interview prior to the game, and I'll be honest with you, they felt they was going to have us. He was talking about obviously what the game plan was, to obviously to rattle us, try unsettle us, and obviously they got a decent record. Was it? I think they've won or lost. They lost in 4 against us apparently.
So I think they won the game from last season. I think they drew the one from the season before.
That's it. 1 win and a draw. So they were confident in going into that. And I just think, I just think that if you're gonna play football, then play football, man. But Klopp had every right to say what he said, and I don't blame him at all.
100%. I'll come to you. They tried the exact same tactic they did when we had Reece Williams and Nat Phillips when we played them at their gaff towards the end of last season. Only difference this year was that we had Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk at centre-back. The long ball tactic and just how imperious those two fellas were in the game. And especially with the challenge that we've got coming next week with Chelsea coming to Anfield and Lukaku, like we literally just talked about, him bullying centre-backs and whatnot. How much confidence does it give you, especially with those two guys, that they can take on these challenges going forward?
Yeah, I think like I said in the LFC Day Trippers podcast, I was a bit worried about the aerial duels that Van Dijk and Matip were going to face against those two bouncers. But yeah, they did very well. Matip performed fantastically. He was great in the air, and something I criticise him a lot about is his aerial duels. Sometimes he does, lose out on quite a few. But I think on Saturday it was close to 10 wins in the air. It was somewhere around 8 to 10 from what I remember. So yeah, he performed fantastically. Again, I know obviously we got Lukaku this Saturday. I don't think you can compare Lukaku's physical presence to those other two wankers that played last week. It's like chalk and cheese, right? You're looking at 3 out of 10 pricks against an 8 out of 10 forward, so that there's a big difference. And also, I think Chelsea aren't going to just hoof it in the air to Lukaku. They'd be stupid to do that.
You know how they're going to play. They're going to have Lukaku as a target man. They're going to have 2 people on the wings who are going to try and run behind.
They'll be driving in crosses. And I think that's the best way to get at us, especially with the way Van Dijk and Matip are struggling to kind of track back and recover. I think that's probably the best way to go. So it was good to see that that they were absolutely fine in terms of the aerial duels and everything and the physical battle. But I think Lukaku is a different challenge.
I do want to quickly touch on the fact that I think Alisson has looked so much more reassured and composed in these 2 games with the real centre backs in front of him. I think pretty much up to this point, every shot that's been on target he has saved. And we haven't conceded a goal, so it has to be. But he's just looked so much more calm. When you see him coming out to collect stuff, his distribution, the one where he absolutely sold, I think it was Ashley Barnes, with that little bit of trickery with his feet, was absolutely fantastic. And I'm very impressed with what I've seen from Alisson so far this season too. Before we do kind of close the pod, new contract for Andy Robertson. What do we all think of that? I can't think of anyone who kind of deserves a more who has earned an improved contract more than him, in all honesty.
Yeah, well deserved. I hope they've doubled what he was earning previously, because I think reportedly it was 50k base. So if he was on 50k base, have the best left back in the world. I hope he's on 100k minimum plus incentives.
Oh yeah, man, he needs that, because they're putting him on Tesco wages, bro. For the best left back in the world, it was
Tesco wages. What Tesco's are hiring like that, bro? Bro, what if?
Yeah, man, hold tight, Robin, man. He deserves it. But good news, I can't lie. You know where I stand in it. Standard, giving players new contracts isn't anything to celebrate. But I'm happy. I'm not going to say I'm not happy that he's committed to Liverpool.
It's the minimum expectation when you've got a world-class player that's playing every single game, and they're clearly happy at the club. Like them getting a new contract,
they should be remunerated as such. 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, it shouldn't be something that we're like, oh yes, well done to the club. Oh, brilliant. 4 or 5 years.
It's only I've noticed only our fan base that make such a big palaver about someone signing a new contract, unless it's like a superstar in another team that they want. But yeah, man, all this just points to is no transfers. So
no, I don't know. I don't think so.
Hold on a minute, player. I'm going to get my telly long here. Hold on a minute, player. Or you will go, I was going to say you go 1-on-1 with Mike, but that's already happened today and you've won. So, so we've. I hope he's listening, by the way. Come
I love you, Mike. I'm gonna buy you a
drink.
we're gonna buy you a drink on Friday, man. Don't worry, bruv. Like a commiseration drink for you, a nice cocktail when we go Wingmans. Don't worry, man.
You can do that thing where you go, no, don't worry about it. I'll pay. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I got that, man. Like you've been through enough this week. It's okay, man. Like just sip this juice. I'll even make it a double as well.
See, there we go. A benevolent opponent there. On the transfer front, Jean Shaqiri has now gone to Lyon for 9.5 million.
Good luck, mate.
I am so happy we don't have to have these fucking discussions in the Kop End Group.
I promise you, every assist and every goal, and it will be there. You guys see Shaq. You guys see Shaq. He's balling out at Lyon. You know, this is the guy that you wanted to. Yeah,
you see that goal against Nice.
I think overall, Shaq's been unlucky. I am a fan of his ability and his game style, but it didn't work out. I mean, good luck to you, but yeah, it had to be done. There's no point in keeping him around. He's on a decent amount of wages as well. He weren't going to play, so you might as well have Harvey Elliott having his game time.
I respect the fact that he went early to Klopp and said, "Can I leave to kind of play more first team football?"
Yeah,
apparently he said it early in the year. Like he didn't even say like early in the summer. He said it earlier in the year. Like, I want to go. And
I respect that. I respect that ambition to kind of fulfill your career and showcase what you can do. As we know, he's a very talented player. But
You know what I find
I disagree with the point of him being unlucky, Glenn, for one thing and one thing only, as reported by a good friend of the pod, Chris Williams. This is the same guy who left halfway through the season and got a hair transplant to which he couldn't head the ball or wear.
Yeah, but come on, football ain't there for us to see alive. Listen, he's thinking about his looks. End of the day, he's not a nice looking chap anyway. Let's be honest. So there might be a shop window open for him to get his hair done now. He might as well get it done. Like end of the day, do you know what I mean? So. He knows his career was obviously on the balance anyway. I think if he was playing week in, week out, or he knew he was in Klopp plans, he wouldn't have done that. He knew he wasn't favored by Klopp. So why not? Fuck it. Let me go and get my hair done. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. So obviously that opens up a non-homegrown player slot from now to the end of the season. I don't know why. I can see Fahy bobbing and weaving like he's.
I'm just dancing, man. I'm glad he's gone.
I don't know. You like you're fighting like Joe Frazier or something. I was hoping there wasn't a wasp trying to get you then. Obviously that opens a non-homegrown player quota, so we can sign someone from abroad. The whole talk has been that Liverpool can't sign a player, and the player they would sign is from abroad. Quick round robin. Do you think Liverpool will sign someone from now to the end of the season?
No.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And January maybe, not now. Not now.
They will. They'll sign someone.
I think they will. You don't know. Listen, we've been told. Listen,
we move in silence, man.
Yeah, we've got this.
We're on a live podcast right now, so if you've got information, share the shit, innit,
listen, we heard from the company men officially, from Mike, Marco, and Ellis. We move in silence. You won't know until we actually get them.
Well, we're not signing a first team player.
It could be Mbappe. It could be Rafinha. You never know. Get out of there, bro. I'll tell you right now, Mbappe's not coming. I'll tell you right now. You don't know because
I do know Mbappe is not coming. Kylian Mbappe, unless his brother's coming, he's got a younger brother. Kylian Mbappe is not coming.
Maybe. You said Mbappe, we didn't say which one.
Exactly. Come on, man. Listen, everything is pointing towards it. Shaq is left. It's the last week of the window. We move in silence. We've been working on this all summer, Glam. You don't understand.
I'm happy. I'm happy if we get a player, but I'm happy with our squad. I'll be honest with you. I'm happy with the squad. In a feel-good place. And obviously, just going back quickly to the contract side, I'm glad that we nailed down players that are playing because it gives that solidarity, it gives that familiarity, and obviously that's why I'm so confident we're going to win the league or finish second minimum because like you got that foundation. It's the same players. You haven't got a lot of people to integrate, and you add to the squad. That's the good thing about it. So if someone comes, they do. If not, we'll crack on and get on with it. No problem. Bring on Chelsea. We're going to beat them anyway. So love that.
Yeah. In all honesty, Chris, I do think we are going to sign someone. And obviously, it's not going to be Mbappe. If that happens, then fantastic. But yeah, I think we'll sign someone, probably a centre mid. I'm pretty certain we're going to sign a centre mid, man.
I'm with Fahy. I think we will sign someone, but the level of player that we'll get, I don't know if it's gonna turn many heads and get us very excited. We might get excited because we're absolutely starving, and if you give a starving man a cracker, he'll act like it's a gourmet meal. So that we might get Bundesliga.
What age bracket we're looking? 20 to 25 or 25 to 29?
Probably, yeah,
anything for me, to be honest.
Someone that needs a year to get used to the league and all that stuff. Not someone to make instant impact.
So I actually think he might be. I think he might be one of two things. I think it might be someone that we sign who can come in right now, and I think there might be someone who gets signed pre-agreement who will come in next season.
Gravenberch,
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
We could have done a little swap deal. Kind of fit with Leon. You know what I mean? We could have done a little.
I say that, Glam, but. Do you not find it weird that Aouar is reportedly available for 18 million quid and not one team in Europe has gone in for him?
But that's the thing. I don't find it weird because I don't think a lot of teams, are ready to take on. There's not a lot of teams that really, really, really need a centre mid right now, if you actually think about it. And also,
you would need a top quality one, though. I get what Chris is saying. Regardless if you don't need one, if he's top quality, you take him. 18 million right now in this current climate. You take him if he's that.
But that's the thing. I don't think he's top quality enough for us for teams to haggle over. But yeah, man, him and Camavinga look available, so we'll see.
Yeah, man.
No, completely agree. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. In all fairness, gents, thank you very much for joining me this week, and listeners,
No worries.
watchers, thank you very much for tuning in this week.
Come on, boys. Yeah, Romelu, you're gonna see, man. Cha,
Yeah, we're gonna have a Romelu Lukaku, but that's a conversation for the
pre-match. You're gonna see, man.
And for more of this passion and integrity and just fantastic analysis, please subscribe to the Kop End Fracas Patreon page. That is www.patreon.com/Kop End Fracas, where you can find the weekend preview. You can find the NWO show, the company men show. You can find so much fantastic content that we've got, and we've got so much more coming up as well. But we will see you next week, hopefully with another 3 points in the bag and Lukaku in someone's pocket. But until then, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.